Hi. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. My name is JP. Welcome to Jump on Music UK. Let's make this a bit more better. There we go. Let's make it full screen. So, let's just make sure we've got things the way we want them. First of all, hi. How are you doing? Welcome to LoopLab Ask Me Anything. This is sponsored. This is a sponsored live stream. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid are a music distribution company. So if you've got music you want to put out there, then DistroKid can help you. I'm just adjusting this microphone just a little bit so you can hear me a bit better. There we go. So if you've got music you're actually putting out, then of course DistroKid can help you. Now, I'm actually in the process of putting out a brand new track which is called Whiskey Jar. In fact, it is going to be out in 10 days time. So we have the link for that as well. But if you actually want to make music and you want to distribute that music, then DistroKid can help you. You just basically click the link. It's in the description box. It's just gone in the chat as well. And then you get 7% off your first annual membership with them. So thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream. Now, a couple of things. First of all, hi. I'm actually using the RC600 loop station at the moment. So I'm going to bring it in right now. And then just actually realizing that by bringing it in, there we go. Yeah. It's upside down. In fact, it's not upside down. The camera's upside down. So we'll discard that for the moment and we'll get back to it in a minute. I'm going to bring the chat in. The chat is what's known as a multi-chat. So the chat is just here. So say hello, let me know where you are. And then basically what we can do is we can obviously answer your questions. Now, I've already had a question go into the chat on YouTube, and it's about basically Loopy Pro. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Before we do that, though, let me just do one little thing. Where are you? You're there. There we go. Just chat amongst yourselves. You'll be fine. How is everyone? I hope you're all okay. Let's just make sure that's off, and then we'll do that. There we go. So I hope everyone's all right. Couple of things, as I say, so we've got a couple of things to get through, and this is called LoopLab Ask Me Anything. So I've had a couple of questions over the week, and I always like to try and answer them directly if I can, but if I can't, then I'll do that right here as well. So there we go, that's what we wanted. So what we're going to do is we're obviously going to bring the chat in, and I'm just going to move my camera ever so slightly that way. There we go. And that way the chat's a little bit more, integrated. That's quite nice. Maybe we have a bit of an angle going on this evening. This is a brand new version of ReStream, so I'm just still getting used to it. But we'll see what we can do. Move it through. There we go. Right, let me just get into this. Let me make sure that all works. Hi, hope you're well. I am well. I've been suffering a little bit, but I'm all right, without going into medical details, but I'm fine. And yeah, we're just going to go into a couple of different things today about looping, and also this is called LoopLab Ask Me Anything. Now, I actually have a course which is a looping course. Now, if you're interested in looping or you want to get into looping, of course, you can see you've got the How Do You Loop t-shirt. That's our podcast. Then you can get into this. Now, this is my course, which is called How to Loop Like a Pro. And it is my LoopLab, as it were. So going from the very, 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 very beginning to some really cool advanced techniques. And it used to be two courses, and I've kind of like thrown them together as one. So if you're interested in this, it's normally $149. You can get it for $119 with the code LoopLikeAPro. Scan the QR code, or obviously go to jumponmusic.co.uk. The other one as well, which is the RC600, I've been having quite a few questions about the 600 this week. So I thought I'd bring it back onto the table. And then silly me, I've got the camera, as I say, I've got the camera upside down. Yeah, I need to change that, don't I? I wonder if I can change it in the software. I don't think I can. I think I have to manhandle it, which wouldn't look great on a live stream. So unless I really, really need something from it, I'm going to obviously take it away from there. And then we'll get into that later. So first and foremost, looping. I've got a question on Loopy Pro already, which was, what's the minimum spec So for Loopy Pro, there is a minimum spec, and I'm going to go into it now because it's a good question. Because it's kind of like, well, what's the minimum I need to get this up and running? But then also, do you want to stop at just the minimum? Because as you start adding things like effects and other things like that, then of course, you might need a bit more power. There we go. I'm just going to go through this now, and there it is. Cool. So Loopy Pro, which if you're not familiar with, is an app you can get on iOS, and it's basically on iPhone and iPad, and it's a multi-phrase, multi-everything looper that is obviously a touch-based looper, but you can obviously connect things like MIDI pedals and things like that to it. The minimum requirement for it is iOS 12. Now, if you can run iOS 12, just to bear in mind that I think Apple are on iOS 17 now. So that's 5 years. So if you go on iOS 12 or later, then you can basically have Loopy Pro. However, I'll give you my example. I run Loopy Pro on an M1 M1 iPad Pro. And I run quite a few loops and quite a few effects, and then you'll see a little percentage on it. So what it does, it starts showing you what the percentage is. So if you're not sure, get it, boot it up. You got a little bit of time on it. You can obviously have a go at it. Hi Peter, how are we doing? Well, and then with Loopy Pro, you can boot it up, have a go of it, see what you think, and then obviously if it's suitable with all the effects you're going to add on, AUV3 plugins, it's doing the right routing, great. If not, then that's obviously your indication to go, do you know what, that may be time to upgrade that old iPad. I'm just looking at this microphone going, are you moving? I didn't also notice that when I set this microphone up, I was like, it's casted a bit of a weird sort of dark shadow on me. Anyway, my lovely light there. So Loopy Pro, what's the minimum spec I need is iPad or iOS 12. The weird thing that on the descriptions for it, it still says iPod Touch. So you could get like a cheap iPod Touch, I think it's the 6th gen or the last iPod Touch, which they don't make anymore. But you might be able to pick one up for cheap and then obviously be able to use that. But the processing power has come a long way. They're now putting the M chips in the Macs, from the Macs into the iPads. So, and then the phones are ridiculous. They're ridiculously fast, the new 15s and stuff. So Loopy Pro, don't think of just Loopy. You need to obviously have the extra space or the extra power to run any of the apps that you want, any of the AUV3 plugins. If you are here, then obviously say hi. Hi, Peter. Hi, 35. Then obviously let us know if you're here. This is what's known as a multi-chat. So basically what this does is if you are on YouTube or you're on Facebook or on Twitter or, X or, or Twitch, then you should be able to chat to each other here. So if you put the chat up, it'll go on your chat, but it'll go up here and you'll see each other's comments, which is really, really cool. So say hi. Let each other know that you're here. So this is one of the new features of ReStream. I've literally just done a video about how I ReStream live, and they're now doing version 2, which I'm on ReStream Studio version 2, which is very nice. And one of the most requested things I had was get the chat properly overlaid here. So it used to look like that, and that's kind of like the traditional look for it, but then it makes this picture very, very small. Now they've done this, I'm kind of like, I need to move over here somewhere and move over this way. So as I move over, and yes, I'm still on my my thingy chair, my kneeling chair. I'm going to move over and I'm going to do that. There we go. That's right, isn't it? Just need to move this mic a little bit. But yeah, hope that looks okay. Can you see your video playback? Your stream is blurry, but the sound is fine. No, I can't because I'm using theirs. Let me just see if I can. I know for once it's not my broadband because my broadband's just been upgraded. And I know it's fine. Because I did a little test beforehand. Let's have a look. Oh, it is blurry, isn't it? Hopefully that'll sort itself out. I hope it's not this new version. Going to stay still for a sec. Anyway, regardless of that, it doesn't matter if the video is blurry, because it's what we're talking about that helps. Oh, Jacob, thank you so much. That's really, really lovely. Your tutorials are incredible. Thank you so much. If you obviously want to do a bit more with me, then the other thing as well is, certainly if you're on YouTube, there is now the YouTube membership. So the YouTube membership is basically a couple of pounds a month. And then you get access to the videos as I upload them, as opposed to as when I schedule them. So if you obviously want to say thanks and support the channel completely, then you've got obviously things like super thanks, and you've also got membership as well. Now, there's another membership which is obviously again on YouTube, and that's another tier up, and that is the Loop Squad. Now, the Loop Squad is a little bit more per month, and you become basically members of the Loop Squad, and there's loads of different perks for that as well. So we're talking about a couple of different things today, and one of the things basically was I got a question about Loopy Pro, what was the minimum spec, which is iOS or iPadOS 12. But I would highly recommend go beyond that, because first of all, you want it to last a couple of years, and also at the same time you want to actually make sure that you can do all the software that you want on it as well. So minimum 12, but I'd probably say they're on 17 now, and then probably by the end of the year they'll be on 18. So you need to obviously make sure that it's not just the bare minimum. That would be my humble advice regarding Loopy Pro. So if you have just joined us, or you're obviously fully aware of how I do live streams, LoopLab Ask Me Anything is literally that. It's literally ask me anything you like, and then we can have a good way of obviously having a chat, and we can obviously discuss what you're talking about. So, Jacob, good question. Let's have a look. Do you think there is a good way to DJ with Pioneer, Recordbox type stuff, and Loopy Pro? I'm currently trying to figure that out. That's a good question, isn't it? Recordbox. Now, Recordbox, where are you? Diddly-dee-dee-dee-dee. Let's get that up there. Recordbox. There it is. Yeah, Recordbox, basically, the only thing with it is, of course, is the out. So you'd want to have it either one of two ways. Either Recordbox is controlled by Loopy Pro, so then Loopy Pro sets the BPM, or Loopy Pro follows Recordbox. Now, it's whether Recordbox, and I don't know this because I don't play with Recordbox, but it's whether Recordbox can be an AUV3 plugin. If it can't, there is another way, but you're gonna have to do a bit of legwork, and there's and it also no, I don't think it can. Yeah. What does it support? Let's have a look. Recordbox with equipment, that's fine. You can plug your DJ equipment in. That's cool. Play your own tracks with MP3 and stuff. That's fine. It's whether it's able to be controlled by something else, or whether it can control something else. All the basics, blah blah blah. Okay, all right. It looks like it's a sole kind of like thing. It's like it's independent thing. However, if you're playing around with, specifically if you're playing around with things like scratching or things like that, or DJing, you could use the sampler in Loopy Pro, or you could use something like Koala sampler, some things like that, and sample the whole song, and that way you could then trigger it. So you would be obviously getting rid of Recordbox in that respect. But it's kind of like an all-in-one package. The alternative is, as long as it will come out as an AUV3 plugin, you could bring it into Loopy Pro, but it doesn't look like it can, because the older alternative would be to bring that into something like AUM, and then bring Loopy in as AUM, but then that gets really convoluted. So yeah, it depends on whether Alpha Theta Corporation, who make Recordbox, has a way of obviously them syncing up via MIDI, or so you can get the BPM together. Because that's all you really want, right? You just want either the BPM together, or what you want to do is you want to you want to be able to sample it. You want to be able to sample what it's playing, so you can mess around with it. Yeah, I mean, Koala's amazing. Koala's mentioned a lot in Loopy Pro because it's kind of like a bit of an onboard sampler, and Loopy has its own like sort of little sampler which you can then split stuff up into transients and stuff. But then where Koala comes in, you've got this really cool sequence-based stuff. You've got a sequencer on Loopy Pro, but then you can do stuff really quickly in Koala, like performance-wise. So I did a review when Koala very, very first came out. So it's been a while, actually, since I've done that review. So what is going on with that? Why are you being... Ooh! Do I look more pink? That's a bit weird. What is going on with my lighting? This is not what meant to happen. 5600 Kelvin, please. Yeah, I look a bit ill. Whoa. Okay, so I'm having fun today. What is going on there? Okay, having fun with the with this. Go back to auto. It's fine. I don't mind looking a little bit pasty. Weird. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. So if you have got questions regarding looping in general, then obviously put it in the chat. Well, this is the multi-chat. I'm always pointing it over there. That it's here now. This is also the second version of ReStream, and I've just made a video about how I use ReStream, and now they've made version 2, and there we go. So yeah, it's all fun and games. Jeremiah, good evening. Hope you're well. Just curious, do you use IEMs or floor monitors for your looping act? Well, that depends. Basically, if I'm in a sort of like Irish bar kind of corner of a place, you shoved in a corner, sometimes you just go plug into their system and that's it. So that can be tough because it's just a case of you're battling, and I'm desperately looking on the desk to find them. However, if I'm on like a big stage or something like that, then I'd more like to use IEMs. Because it's quieter in the sense of the stage can pick more things up on the microphone. I don't do like a 2 microphone setup. I use one microphone that goes into the looper, and I use that for everything. This has got really good rear noise rejection. This is the Fifine K8. That's F-I. I think it's called Fine. I always pronounce it wrong, but it's the K8. Oh, I've just dropped the thing. Anyway, so the reason why I'm picking it up is because if I do this, hello 1 2 2 2 2, hi. So can you barely hear me? So it's got really good rear rejection, and it's about £40. I've been using this mic literally for years. They gave me the K6 to review when the channel was in its infancy, and then I was like, it's pretty rubbish. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. Just picking stuff up. And then I gave him the K8. I was like, I'm not looking forward to this review, and it was brilliant. And so this is my looping mic, which rear rejection is good anyway. But then if the speaker's like here, then you're gonna just go turn it a little bit away from you. If you're in a bit of a weird pub. If you're in a bigger environment, yeah, just tell the engineer. No monitors, please. And then use the IEMs. Now, you've seen the review of these. I hope you have. And if you haven't, go and watch it. But basically, this is the XVive U4 receiver, and that's XLR. However, what they do is they give you an adapter. So you plug this adapter in. There we go. And I am just going to bring back the top-down camera. Let's just do that now. Whoop. Sorry, it's upside down. And then what I do is, a real simple gig is literally, there's my left, there's my right, okay, as my mains. And then all I do is I plug that into there. Now, it's really long, okay? So let me just do this. Look how long that is. It's really long. Like, there's the end of the jacks. So it's really long. But having said that, I've messed it up now. Oh, there we go. There we go. GP, come on now, behave. Oh, just do that. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to turn it off anyway. So I use basically that, and I've been using that for a little while, and then I had these really cheap IEMs, which I've got on the table, and they were like 15 quid from Amazon, and they work. They're okay. And then X5, actually, after seeing that one, sent me their ones, which are a little bit better. I say a little bit better. They are better. And they've got sort of like the memory foam buds. Yeah, I can't talk today. What's going on? So I do, but probably more in a more professional environment. The funny thing is that if I'm taking my own PA with me, which is currently that one, which is the Headrush, the Mackie Reach. Start again. Is the Mackie Reach, which is over there? Then that has side speakers, so then I don't need IEMs. I can actually turn that down a little bit, so I can just hear a little bit coming in. And I've been so used to that over the years that I've never really been blessed with using in-ear monitors. So yeah, it's fun and games. But I will use in-ear monitors probably for bigger gigs. That's probably what I'd say. I hope that makes sense. Oh, Jacob, you're welcome. No worries at all. I love doing streaming. Streaming's fun. Streaming's easy. I get to chat to you guys. There's no editing involved. I spend most of my day like this. Editing. That's how I edit it, by the way. I just wave my fingers at it and it just edits itself. I wish. So to answer the question, yes, I do use them, but only on certain things. If it's like a local pub gig and there's a speaker on the floor and it's pointing that way, I don't care. I just go by ear, and I don't use IEMs. I'm pretty not fussed about that. I just kind of just go for it, and as long as they can dance and have a drink, then that's fine. Good old Wisconsin. Tainted, how we doing? I need to speak to you regarding obviously a certain keyboard. If they haven't spoken to you already, you're still getting it. Don't worry. But I just need to get them to talk to you, so I need to get that sorted. You are getting it. Don't worry. And absolute worst case scenario, if just say tomorrow they bailed on that idea, I'll send you mine because we promised you a keyboard. And you won a keyboard on the giveaway. 35. Have you experienced any issues with V3 firmware on the RC600? I'm getting crashes. No. Now, I want to talk about crashing. And I'm touching a very big piece of table wood here. I touch a piece of wood for good luck. I've never had a crash on my RC600 ever. And I'm not just saying that to be like a Boss fanboy or anything. I haven't had a crash. Now, the reason I haven't had a crash is because what I do is I plug the RC600 into my Mac, I get the hard drive up, and I pull the hard drive, as in I pull all the audio and data from it. That's how I save it, okay? Now, I also now, I've been doing that for ages, but I very recently am starting to use the RC600 editor. Now, if you're not familiar with that is made by the lovely John Moose Taylor, and that is an absolute dream to play with because you can make playlists, which is really clever, and you can swap things around. Obviously, it's an unofficial editor made by John Moose Taylor. He spent, I think, over a year coding it before he even released like a beta version. Excuse me. So it's really, really good. But regarding having a crash, what I do is, as I said, I pull the audio off it if there's any that I need to save. Then I do a firmware update. Okay, so if I'm going to do a firmware update, I pull the audio, do the firmware update, and then I wipe it. Okay, so I wipe that completely once the firmware update's been done. So it's like a completely fresh, out-of-the-box RC600. Now, I know people who do exactly the same as me and still have crashes. I'm just very, very grateful, lucky, I don't know, but grateful I haven't had a crash yet. And I then, obviously, if there's any audio I need, I drop it back in, and I now use John's editor to do that because it's easier. It was a nightmare putting stuff back on, but now it's easier. So yeah, so I haven't had a crash on the RC600, but I know people who have, and I'm not trying to big myself up here by going, I've not had a crash, and you have. But I'm really, really sorry for those who have. It's really not nice. It's never a nice feeling, and the worst would be while doing it while playing live. Your looper crashes on you while playing live. That would be a horrible, horrible feeling. Right, so see, that's what I did. I have my outputs connected to a Boss 8-track now to back up performances. Interesting. Nice. Is that the BRB, whatever it was called? I think I know which one that is. Nice. It's a good idea. It's a shame that it can't be fully reliable. I've never had an issue. I feel so confident with it. The day it does crash on me, it's going to do a spectacular job, and it's just going to die and never come back on. I've just got this horrible feeling. But yeah, time will tell. There we go. The BR800. Yeah, that's it. The BR800. The 8-track. So, just getting used to this new version of ReStream Studio 2.0. I've not actually had a chance to play with it. Apparently, I can do things like bring demonstrations in and all kinds, which is quite interesting. We can do presentations as well. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to stick with what we know, and this live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid are a music distribution company. So if you've got music and music's being recorded and it's been mastered and everything else, and you want to put it on Spotify or Apple Music or Deezer or Pandora or Tidal or all these places, then basically what you need is a music distributor in the middle. You can't do it yourself unless you're a label. And you need to basically have some kind of distribution team, and that's what DistroKid is for independent artists. So DistroKid actually charge you one price per year. They charge a subscription. So imagine you release 4 albums, and other places charge you, a tenner an album. That's 40 quid. This actually charges you $22.99 a year, and you can release as much as you want. I want to say as much as you want. You can do an album of up to 35 tracks. You can do as many singles as you want. You can do, an acoustic version. You can do an EP. So, yeah, let's have a look. Oh, why is that doing that? Ooh, that's weird. Don't know why that's happening. Yeah. I'll find out for you. Don't worry. So obviously that QR code is obviously DistroKid. Scan the QR code, click the link, and thank you very much to them for sponsoring this live stream. Let's find out what's going on with the live stream, because apparently it's still okay. I'm sorry for everyone who's watching the live stream that it is a little bit fuzzy. It's not meant to be fuzzy. It says I've got a good signal. I don't know why. If ReStream can sort that out, that'd be great. What's going on? My message appears grayed out, so I'm not sure if it's getting to you, John. Okay. Well, let's find out. Let's have a quick gander and see what's going on there. I'm having a look. So if you want to obviously support the channel, one thing you can do as well is you can actually join the YouTube membership. There's a couple of people who you may see with little loops next to their name. So Tainted is one of those people who has very kindly donated a couple of £1 a month to basically keep this channel alive. And that is obviously for, the overlays are crystal clear. Yeah, so it's not the stream. What is going on? My camera's fine. How weird. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cancel my camera for a second. Just for a second, don't panic. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at what's going on here. Now, I'm still here. Don't worry. Don't panic. Let's go on to auto. And then let's just bring that back. General. We are streaming at 720p, for God's sake. Right, well, let's see what happens. So hopefully This will come back any second and we'll have a look. Nope, it's just not sending it out properly, is it? Right, well, let's just do this then. Let's go HD camera. What happens if we do this? Hi. There we go. No, still the same. So I don't know what it's doing with the cameras. I'm using different cameras, and basically it's still giving me a rubbish feed, so I might as well use the nice camera and have a rubbish feed and a nice camera as opposed to this. Here's my repeat message. I don't know why that was a bit weird. I'm sorry about that. Right, okay, let's carry on with the questions. So the RC600 editor is very useful and well worth the dollars. Moose is also very helpful as well. He is, yes. I think a lot of thought and love has been put into the RC600 editor. The RC editor, I should call it. That's the official. Because you can use it for the 505 Mark II as well. There we go. Right, that. Sorry about this. Wait, 1 second. Interesting. Okay. So yes. So the RC editor is very, very useful. It's very useful if you've got an RC600 and an RC505 Mark II. It is Mark II. It's not MK2. So there we go. Oh, follow-up question. Do you get bleed into the floor monitors with vocal loops, or does your omnidirectional mic cancel that out? To be honest, yes, I will get a little bit of bleed sometimes. And it just depends on what's happening with that. So sometimes you'll get a little bit of bleed. Yes, I will admit that. Oh, I know what's going on. Just realised. Hang on a minute. Why are you being silly? Right. So hopefully now. Are you going to be better now? Are you going to be better? Let's have a look. So yes, I do get a bit of bleed sometimes. So you just have to. I just end up with it. It's like. No, it's still the same. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry about the quality. I'm going to get that sorted. So yes, so I do get a bit of bleed, obviously, from floor monitors. But I asked them to turn it down. So I asked them to turn it down. Sometimes I just have a little bit of floor monitors. I'll go, just don't bother. And I'll just play. And the only time I'll say don't bother with any monitors whatsoever is when I won't do that is when the stage is big, because you're just going to hear the bounce back. You're not going to be in time with yourself. So you have to be very careful with that, certainly for timing. But yeah, have a tiny little bit going in, and then tell them to take out like the high end, if they can, on the monitor. So I'll do that. Overlays are crystal clear, but the camera's not. I don't know why. And we've literally had full fiber installed in the house, so I don't know what the heck's going on there. Weird. Yeah, it's thrown me a little bit. Sorry guys, give us 1 sec. Maximum resolution and quality, audio, virtual background, no. Great, innit? I've just promoted this as well. Anyway, things happen, live streams happen. There is a storm going on in the UK, so maybe that's causing a problem. So obviously the messages are crystal clear. The overlays are crystal clear because that's coming from ReStream, whereas my camera is being zapped through to ReStream. So maybe it's my camera that's obviously having a bit of a signal delay, and it's causing that to dissipate. Anyway, here's a repeat message from David. I've recorded a song on the RC5 over 12 memories, 23 to 35. Is it possible to bounce these individual memories into one? Wait a minute, I need to reread that. I've recorded a song on the RC5 over 12 memories. Wow. So from memory 23 to memory 35 is one song. So these are all the different sections I'm taking. Is it possible to bounce these individual memories into one? Not from the RC5, no. In fact, not from any looper, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to probably pull the audio and put it into a digital audio workstation. So I would, I'd probably say you need to do that. There's no way you can bounce. You can bounce on things like the RC600, but that's bouncing within the same memory. So, so you can save from one memory to another. That's fine. But you can also bounce, say, like, I've used all 6 loops, and then I want more, so I can bounce all them down to 1. But I've recorded a song and I have 12 memories. It's not, you can't bounce the individual memories to 1 on the looper. You'd need to pull the audio so plug the RC5 into a computer, pull the audio, and then maybe use something as simple as GarageBand. You know the BPM. So, which is great. So set the BPM up and just drop them all in and then re-export it back out in the same way. And then you could obviously drop it back in that way using the RC editor, not the RC editor, the Tone Studio editor. So there we go. Hi JP, I've earned £3.97 from DistroKid. Nice, cool, fantastic. Can you bounce the RC film? Yeah, so no, I'd say no. What I meant to say is I've earned £3.97 from DistroKid, only another £3 and I can withdraw it. Woohoo! So the thing with that is obviously that we're fully aware now that streaming your music, if you make 1 million streams, it's about £3,000 ish. So it's 0.003 pence from something like Spotify. So the fact is, obviously, if you put your music out on lots of different places, that's great. But then putting the music part out is not the hardest bit. That's actually quite easy. You just upload it, give it a title, give it a cover, say what it is, and that's it. The hardest part is still always been the hardest part, right from the 1950s for popular music, which is marketing. So marketing is the hardest part of the music industry. It always has been, and it always will be. If you would like to actually earn a little bit more from this, if you've used DistroKid, what I would suggest you do is pick your favorite social media. Not YouTube, but pick your favorite social media, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Facebook. And then what you need to do is you need to have 5 videos. Okay, so video, and when I say 5 videos, don't go, oh my God, 5 videos. You just need to film yourself performing your track. Okay, now perform your track for 30 seconds. Okay, so in this room, you don't have to come to this room, but your own room, in a room. Come on, JP, in a room, perform it for 30 seconds. Perform the most catchy bit. Okay, the next one is perform the same track acoustically on a beach. Right? If you can play it acoustically. If not, play take a synthesizer with you and just do it in a really weird environment. Okay. So again, 30 seconds. Okay. Upload these things to your favorite social media. Now, I'd be probably telling you upload it to, all kinds of places, but upload it to just your favorite social media for now. Okay. And then what you then need to do is just carry on doing this. So 30-second clips of you playing that song in a different location. There's so many artists now who are miming 30-second clips of their thing while they're doing something else, like walking over London Bridge or walking along the beach in slow-mo, but they've timed it so it looks right, and they've got a party going on behind them, and it's just to make it like a bit interesting. Okay, and then it's kind of like you're introducing a whole load of people to your song that would go, oh, this is what I like. Now, yes, you can use things like Facebook ads and stuff like that, and marketing tools where you start paying for stuff. But if you want to do it organically, then you can do that, and with a link at the end of the 30 seconds going, this is me, follow me for more, or put the DistroKid hyperfollow page on there, and then you'll get some more plays. The other thing you can do is you can use Playlister on DistroKid, so that is actually going into finding playlists that are for your genre. Never, ever pay to be on a playlist. People run playlists and they go, oh, we need to pay £12 pounds a week to keep it running. No. The people will do that, but you shouldn't have to pay to be on a playlist. And then basically then you can add a little bit more. You may even get a following. You may even get something go viral. You never know. The other thing as well is you can use it with DistroKid. You can use your music as reels. So on your social media, you could also then go, well, let's mime the 30-second bit. So like from 42 seconds up for 30 seconds. Okay. Don't have any audio on the audio, and then pick the music from the music bit on Instagram or whatever, and then that's your music. You've actually used your music as the promotion for your music. I might even do a video about that because it's something that's actually really easy to do. And then I'm going to be doing 1 or 2 bits. Now, our track, I say our track is coming out in 10 days' time. It's myself and it's Joe McAdam. Now, if you don't know who Joe McAdam is, then if you're in the north of the UK, you should know who Joe McAdam is. Joe is the very humble and amazing host of Manchester's Whiskey Jar Open Mic Night, and he's been doing it for 10 years. And the song is about that bar. It's about the Whiskey Jar. So we got Joe to sing with me. I know Joe very, very well. And we're bringing this out together. So we're going to do a little bit of promo-y, video-y stuff for it. And yes, it's out on April 19th, but then you probably haven't seen a damn thing about it. And that's because I'm going to be promoting it after it comes out. So yes, you can do the pre-save thing and blah, 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 but no one actually cares what day it comes out. If I turn around to you and said, right, cool, where's your music? You went, oh, it's coming out in a month. Like, not interested. Carry on, move on. So I hope that makes sense about sort of like, doing a bit more with the stuff you've already got. So you can, if you've got performances of you doing your stuff, put it on social media. Okay. So I hope that way you can earn an extra £3 and then you can withdraw it. Okay. Jeremiah, thanks. I'm into the verse 8. See, right. Okay. So I need to talk about this. So, and I'm glad you brought this up. I have been introduced to a new speaker, which you may or may not have seen me use the other day on a live stream because it was on Monday. It was yesterday. Good God. Which is the new Mackie show box, which is just down there. And people keep saying to me, like the last 2 speakers have done, what's it like versus the eVerse 8? I'm very new to knowing what the eVerse 8 is. So I didn't know there was a thing called an eVerse 8. Until about 2 months ago, I've been so off the ball with like live speakers because I haven't needed one in my own personal space. That thing is brilliant. And I wish Mackie never discontinued it, the Mackie Reach, because I think lots of people would buy it today. So I've been finding out about the eVerse 8 a little bit more because someone said to me, what's the showbox like versus the eVerse 8? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. So it's interesting that. So apparently it's a very good speaker, battery powered. Apparently it's got a good sound on it, which is interesting. So maybe the people who make eVerse will send us one. I don't know. Maybe they won't. So maybe I'll reach out to them. And we'll find out what's so hot about them. Let me know. Yes. I know what the S was about. Don't worry. Now, question: does the RC600 need to be stopped to bounce, or can it bounce on the fly? Ooh. You need to turn about 3 things on to make sure it does bounce. But as far as I'm aware, because I've not really done it when playing live. Actually, I've just realised this now. Thank you. So as far as I'm aware, it will bounce on the fly. Don't quote me on that. Hang on. I'm now going to find out. Boop. 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 Right. Hang on. Bounce tracks. Play bounce tracks. Assign. You can assign bounce recording. So turns bounce recording on or off, fine. So it says turns the bounce recording on or off, but it doesn't say about bounce switch. Sets whether the bounce recording is on. Bounce track specifies which track is used for the input during the bounce recording, the track used for bouncing. Yes. Whether the bounce to play. Whether the bounce will be played. Bounce in. There we go. Sets whether allow the playback sound different tracks which recorded on or off. Sets whether to allow the playback sound from a different track as well as the recorded on or not off during recording or overdubbing. That's bounce in. I know the manual is tosh, isn't it? Let me get back to you on that. And then obviously we do a live stream a week, so we're going to figure this out. I don't know. I know how to set bounce up. I know how to do bounce, but I've always done it when I've stopped the actual loop. I've never actually thought about that. It must be playable because you must be able to do it live, right? You make up a load of stuff and you go bounce and then you carry on. I'm guessing now. I am guessing, but I'm guessing it's a yes. I'm guessing you should be able to do it on the fly. But you do need to set it up, and it is one of those things where you've got to turn on in the record thing, you've got to turn it on in the track thing to say which ones are being bounced, and then you've got to have a button to bounce it. So you have got to put different things up there. I'm looking at trying out bouncing. Yep, well, I can't get very high. Sorry. Oh, God. Yes, I am here all night. How's the live stream doing? Is it any better? No. Okay. Well, there we go. Modern technology. Thank you, John. Yes, I'm using the FS6 to play the memory. So you're just going up a memory, up a memory, up a memory, up a memory. That's wicked, man. That's really cool. Because that's something that I've been teaching people to do. Ironically, on the RC500, with the RC5 as well. That's a really cool way of doing it because you want key changes, no problem. You've got like basic. You must have set that up. It must have taken a bit of time to set up. How many was it? 12 memories for one song. What song is it, by the way? What song requires 12 different changes? Let me know in the comments below. That'd be good. I think you get paid more from YouTube adverts than anywhere else. Yes, you do. So it has now been proven that actually if you run a YouTube channel, then you can actually get paid from adverts and make a living. I'm not quite there yet, but we are certainly in the throes of wanting to go full-time with YouTube. That would be amazing. So if everyone can subscribe to the channel like this live stream right now, that will invite more people in. Did you know that if you like a video, it sends that video out to more people? But on a live stream, it's a little bit like well, as far as I'm aware, quote me if I'm wrong, it's a little bit like if you like a live stream while it's live, it kind of sends it out to more people to go, by the way, this is on, and it kind of invites more people in. So let's all press the like button now. And then, selfishly. We've just turned on the thing. I didn't mean to turn it on. Stop. And then more people will come in, and that'll be really, really good. But yes, actually, you're right. It has been now known that once you get to a certain stage, which obviously is... Once you get to a certain stage, then you do get basically the opportunity to have ad revenue. And then ad revenue obviously can pay for things. And then you can have that where you have ads either before or after or in between the video. And, it depends on what you're doing. So, of course, the downside for a musician is the very difficult thing of, do you put ads on? Or do you put ads on your like, say you're a musician, you don't do like what I do, you don't do like reviews or tutorial stuff, you just play, you I don't mean that in a derogatory way of just, but you just play music. Do you put ads on at the beginning and the end, but that's fine. But you won't put ads on in the middle. And also then, what do you do regarding things like DistroKid? So what do you do, like if you're releasing music and then all of a sudden you get like a copyright strike because DistroKid have gone, oh, that's your music, so we're copyrighting it. So you can disable that with DistroKid, by the way. But it means that you're then missing out on that. Imagine all of a sudden that gets millions of views. Are you getting more money from the ad revenue, or are you getting more money from the actual streams? Good question. But yeah, it depends. Obviously, it's very, very niche. Do you know that only, I think it's less than 8% of people now basically get over 1 million streams? 8%. 8% of people get over 1 million streams. That's music, by the way. So yeah, whereas obviously, you could make a video and go absolutely viral, and then you could repurpose that video. A video can be repurposed. The music, once it's out there, it's done. But being a musician is something that's in our blood, right? So it's one of those things where we need to do it, and we want to do it, and we want to play with the tech and and make music and also go on stage or live stream. If you're not comfortable about being on stage, live streaming is a great way to start, because you don't have to talk to the audience if you don't want to. You could just start a live stream and play in the background, and that's it. But it gives you the confidence to maybe then chat to the audience like I'm talking to you guys now. In fact, I haven't shut up, have I? So there we go. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, really? There we go. Well, the other thing as well is certainly if you're doing talking or chatting on YouTube, then I'm not here to talk about obviously YouTube stuff, but this is Ask Me Anything. This is LoopLab asking anything you want. Predominantly about looping, but of course we can do about anything. Apparently there is there's some AI tools coming into YouTube in 2024 where it'll be able to redub your voice into different stuff. So who knows? That'd be quite interesting. So you could obviously have it dub your things into your voice into different languages. So then you don't have to have basically, sort of like a video in sort of like Hindi, or video in French, or video in English, or video in Japanese. You could just have one video and then people just pick the dub, which is quite interesting. Be gentle, tender with me, hush hush. Yes, I'm going to go into keychains, so estimate another 4 to 6 memories. I'm doing this way because the RC5 seems to only record. Yeah, RC5 seems to only record over 4 bars, bass, keys, pad. Okay. Yeah. So that's why you need so many memories, right? That makes sense. Okay. That's quite cool. I like the way you're doing this, dude. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Right. So, quick one for you. Talking about obviously making music, this live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by a friend over at DistroKid, who are a music distributor. You could have your music in a different country and not be aware that actually your music gets to listen to loads of different people. So you can actually reach a whole new audience. So if you've got music you're going to put out there, you might as well put it out to all the 170 different places around the world where you can actually listen to and live stream or stream music. So DistroKid can help you with that. With an annual price of $22.99, we can give you 7% off your first annual membership, which with that QR code. It's also a link that's gone into the chat. It's in the description box below as well. So thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream. Just want to also point out, this is LoopLab, and one of the LoopLabs, or my LoopLab, is how to loop like a pro. So if you're interested in just taking your looping a little bit further, or you obviously want to start from scratch, Loop Like a Pro is it has a beginner's course in it, and it also has some intermediary stuff as well. It's actually got one or two advanced things actually, and it's the whole caboodle. Now the great thing about how to loop like a pro, it's not centered around one specific looper. So it's like, oh, you haven't got the R600, you can't do this. I use different loopers all the way through it to prove that you can actually do this. You can do this with any looper. And yes, we include things like Loopy Pro. We include things like the RC600, the RC500, the Donna Circle looper, the little one-track looper. So if you're interested in obviously just a little bit more technique from me, then it's normally $149, but with the code Loop Like a Pro, you get it for $119. Then scan the QR code or click the link that's just gone into the chat. Now, One of the other questions I got, which I'm now thinking whether I should do this because the camera is just naff, innit? I'm not going to lie. Don't know why the camera quality is rubbish. I can't even reduce it anymore. Okay, let's do that and see what happens. Okay. I'm going to try and bring the camera down to the lowest quality I can. So on my camera itself, I wonder if that's why. I'm going to turn my camera off. This might mess up royally. Yeah, didn't think that would work. Never mind. Okay, that's fine. Turn camera on. Oh, it's the wrong camera. Okay. So it's not the camera. It's got nothing to do with the camera. Oh, no. Wonder if I do it that way. That's fine. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Are you going to be able to see it? No. Okay. What about that one? No. We're having a great time. Chat amongst yourselves. Put your questions in for LoopLab. Ask me anything, and you will see my face at some point. Don't worry. I'm not using a capture card. That's a great question. I am using the Osbot Tail Air, which actually you just USB straight in, and then it just goes selectable on ReStream Studio. So it's not down to the camera, it's down to the output point of my equipment. So that's on me. Right, okay, fine. We're going to go back into that mode. Yes. And then we can do that. And then we can go that one. Yeah. There we go. We're back. So, yeah, I'm having a fun time. I think it is actually down to the storm that is wailing away outside because the upload speed is nowhere near what it's meant to be. So apologies about that. But obviously, as long as you guys can hear me, that's the main thing, which is good. Yeah, it's nowhere near what it's meant to be. So it was fine, but then it started dropping, and that's probably the reason why. But I have dropped the quality of the camera down, like right down to like meh. So we'll do that now. So hopefully, I don't know. Maybe it'll be there. No. It's not time for a new camera. This is a brand new camera. It's not the camera itself. It's the connection between my camera and the internet. So my internet's just a bit low at the moment, and that's because of the way this is doing things. So I'm just going to take one or two things off the internet. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, right. So this is the Osbot Tail Air. Not that it's obviously this isn't the quality of the Tail Air. It's the internet connection. The Tail Air has got a Sony lens in and everything. So it's not that. I'll tell you that now. We did a full video on that, and it is an amazing piece of kit. And if you look at last week's live stream, you'll know full well that it works perfectly fine. So there we go. Right. Okay. Cool. Now we're back. What was going to say? Yes. Now I had a question regarding the RC600, and I get this question a lot. I'm currently in the gripes of actually making a video about one question I get a lot about the RC600, and this also works with the RC505, which is how do I get a click track in my headphones, but then the audience don't hear it? And I get this question, I'd probably say like once a week, maybe once every 10 days. I get emailed, I get messaged, like, how do I do it? So I thought, well, look, it's in my course. It's in the RC600 course. That's the other course I've got. I've got an RC600 course, which is a full-blown course. You get 5% off with the word subscriber. You can also pay for it monthly as well. Over 4 months, so it's $50 a month. But I get this question a lot, so I was like, right, I need to answer this question because it's one of these things that it just keeps propping up. So I need to make a video on it for you on YouTube, because people keep asking. I can't just tell them to go and get my course just based on that one question. So on that basis, I am going to bring back our little friend. If he's going to do this, there we go. Woomph. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So how do we get the audio click track out? Now, if I bring a click track in, you're going to hear this now. There it is. And I'm going to turn the AI music off for a minute. Right. So there's our click track. And the reason you can hear that is because it's coming out the stereo here. Okay. So the way we actually do this is we need to do one thing, which is we go into menu, and I'm going to try and zoom this in so you guys can see what I'm doing. Refocus, please. Thank you. So this is upside down. I know it's upside down because I'm so pro about everything. But you can just all do this, right, and just turn your heads. So what you can do is, right, basically what we need to do is we need to tell the headphones to be their own thing, and also at the same time we need to turn it off on the outputs, okay, on the outputs here. So when we go into output, you've got routing. We go into routing, you've got track, which is the tracks, the actual 1 to 10 tracks. 1 to 10, flipping heck, 1 to 6 tracks. And then you've got input/rhythm, okay? So you'll notice here it says phones main, okay? So the first thing is we're going to turn off the rhythm on the main, okay? So we go into here and you can see you've got like mic 1, mic 2 and everything else. You can see that? I know it's upside down, but you can see it, right? So if I scroll this way, I can actually click this and turn the rhythm off, okay? So down is off, up is on, which of course for you is the other way around. Oh, excuse me. And then I'm just realizing that while doing this, if the quality of the camera is low, you might not be able to see this, but I hope you can. And that's the main. I'm going to go across one and go to sub 1 and scroll this and click it and turn the rhythm off there. I'm doing this slowly. I've actually got sub 2 left and sub 2 right, so I'm going to do them. Okay. And I want to click left. Sorry, not left. When I click right again, I get to the end. Now it says phones rhythm on. The rhythm output is output as opposed to loop, so I'm not recording it. And then the input is through, okay? And that's going through. That makes sense. But there's no way to actually monitor things properly, because now if I get out of there, if I tap the rhythm and turn it on, we can't hear it. I can't hear it in headphones. You can't hear it yourself. It is actually on right now. We can see that, okay, because of that light. So how do we get it into headphones? What you have to do is go back to where we were. Go to menu, output, and routing. And before we get into anywhere else, you'll see this dial. Phones out is main. So the phones out is following the main. It actually says, well, there's no rhythm on the main, okay? So you have to turn this around to individual. Then what we do is go back into that menu, go across, and you'll get to the very, very end, and then go back one, and you'll now see there's a phones option, and we can turn phones on the rhythm. So now what I can do, if I just unplug my headphones here for a second, because I've got them plugged into my audio interface, I'm going to plug my headphones into the phones here, he says. There we go. And then what I can do is I can hear myself, I can hear everything else. So now, if I do this, right? But you can't hear it coming out the main. Now I can prove this further, because what I can do is I can So can you hear the rhythm? Yes or no? Can you hear the click track? You can hear me beatboxing, but can you hear the click track? No. I know you can't. You can through there. I don't want to play it too much because it's going to feed back. I know it is. But yeah, basically, I can hear the click track in here. Now, I can prove this to you visually, because if we go into enter, no click. There we go. If we go into enter and go across, let me go to the output. Now you can see I've got main out, sub, 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 and then loop out. So right now, the phones, the headphones, that's my master. That's the loop out. Hi, Lena, by the way. Then basically we've got, you can hear that the microphone is working. And then if I press this, hopefully you can see that there. So the loop is coming out there. And you can see rhythm out. Now it's only doing a click at the moment. I can turn that off. It's not doing anything. Turn it back on. It's going ding, click, 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 ding, click, click, click. Obviously in time. So yeah, so that way I can actually just hear the click track. Now that's one way of doing it. That's kind of like the one way that you do it. It's one of these things. It's one of these things that basically it's really, really easy to do. So you can actually change it over really simply by just changing those two things. However, what you can do is you can actually be really clever with this, and you can change the rhythm. So if we hold rhythm down, I know it's upside down, by the way, and apologies about this. I've already got something recorded on here, so it's going to stick on 4/4. I'll get to that question in a second about timing on the RC500. Don't worry. If I go across one, it says the start trigger is start the loop, and the stop trigger is stopping the loop. What I can do is I can say, well, the start trigger is actually before the loop, and then the stop trigger is actually record end. Now, what this does, by doing it this way, I can hear the click track before I play a loop, which is great. So I press the button and nothing actually happens for recording. It just starts playing the loop. It starts playing the click track, sorry, or the rhythm. I keep saying click track. I mean the rhythm. But then when I've recorded it, it turns it off because then I don't need it anymore because I've made my first loop, which is the most important bit. So press the button. I've just changed my headphones over, so I'm just changing back really quick. So you can see it's flashing like crazy, and that's because it's in my headphones now. I've got click, so it's recorded, and now I can't hear the click track because I've told it to turn off when the recording ends. Okay, so I get basically. I have to press the button once more as normal than just going for it. But it means that it sets me up. So it means I'm going to turn I'm just going to turn all the systems back on so you can hear what I'm talking about. Because if I now turn this on, you should be able to hear this now. In fact, I can prove that by plugging this in. There we go. Right, so you can hear that, right? You can hear the click, right? So that's just clicking away. We're ready to play our next song. 2, 3, and... The click's gone. So it's only there as a guide for when you're recording. That's really powerful, and it's something that's really, really useful, I think. So I'm going to be I'm doing a video about this. Obviously, you could just take that bit and just replay it, but I'm going to do a video about this anyway because I get asked this. I'm not even joking. I get asked this at least once a week. So yeah, so it's one of those things where you definitely need to kind of like listen out for it and stuff. But yeah, I get asked that about once a week. So I'm gonna make a video about that and put it on the channel with obviously that way you can play it back and everything else. Let's put some tunes on. Whee. There we go. Just turn them down a bit. And yeah, we'll do that. So it's all good. So I've got a question. There's a cut there now. Hang on a minute. If I make that smaller, does the quality go better? Obviously it's smaller, but just noticed the quality just went whoomp as soon as I maximized it. Interesting. We're playing with version 2 of ReStream Studio Pro. So there's a couple of nice things you can do and everything else. No, the quality just zaps anyway. So the quality is not down to the camera, it's down to my, same quality. Oh well. Well, we might as well have big blurry GP as opposed to small blurry GP. So I thought you'd like that. Anyway, oh, nice. I'm glad you like that. That's good. So, question for me. How do you change the time signature on the RC500? I've just been doing 4/4 timing, so I haven't had to change anything on it. That's fine. So how you change the time signature on the RC500 is very, very similar, actually. So what you do is you go into rhythm. Where are you? Where's my little thing that I did? It's not that one. That's the 500. There it is there. Right, so go into, basically, I've got it right here. Look at that. It's like as if it was meant to be. What you need to do is go into the tempo. You can hold the on-off button on tempo, and that'll get you into the menu. That's the fastest way, but you can go into like memory and do it that way. So hold the on-off button, and you can access that. Okay, and then scroll across, and what you're going to start seeing is you'll see beat. Okay, so if you've got level, reverb, pattern, variation change, if you've done variation, kit, and then you'll see beat. So the beat is where you've got the 4/4, and then you can change it. Now, you can't change it if there's already audio being on there already. Okay, just so you're aware. So you can't change that. If you've recorded something in 4/4, it's going to be in 4/4. It's going to stay in 4/4. Okay. So yeah, you can't change it afterwards, but you certainly can change it before you record something. So I hope that helps you. Excuse me. If you want to obviously have a look at the RC500 course, we do an RC500 course, an RC600 course, and a How to Loop Like a Pro course. And you can have a look at them. And let's bring that one up. Where are you? There. Next. Done. That one. So this is the Boss RC500 course. It is $97. You can get 5% off with the word subscriber, and we go through the very basics right through to some really advanced stuff with it. So that one, I am still adding things to it, and I'm adding things to the RC600 course. In fact, we're going to be doing a chapter all about bounce. So that was a really good question to ask, the bounce question earlier on. That'd be really interesting to figure that out. It'd be quite good to do some examples on that. So if you've got any other questions regarding looping, you can, obviously this is LoopLab Ask Me Anything. We are sponsored. Our sponsorship today is DistroKid, who are a music distribution company. So you can obviously get 7% off your first annual membership. So you get it for $21.38 as opposed to $22.99. I'm actually on the Musicians Plus tier, which gives you 2 artists. That's $39.99. So there's me as John Paul, and then there's me and my mate Greg as Tokyo Wasteland. And then, that way, basically, we can do things like schedule the date of the release. That's why my new track, which is called Whiskey Jar, is going to be out on April the 19th. So there we go. And I'm very quickly, desperately trying to find the thing for it because I'm so pro. Where are we? You're currently offline, of course I am. Let's try that again. There we go. Grand. Why are you not playing what I want you to play? There we go. That one. I'm saying that one, you don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going, oh, that one. There it is. Open. So, on April the 19th, you are going to see this. This is Whiskey Jar from John Paul and Joe McAdam. So this is our new track that is coming out on April the 19th. It's quite a upbeat track. I hope you enjoy it. Both myself and Joe singing on the track with a nice little thing at the very, very end. Because the open mic night in Whiskey Jar in Manchester has been going for over 10 years with the wonderful Joe McAdam at the helm. And it's high time that I write a song about it because the Whiskey Jar is actually very important to me. So I just want to obviously let you be aware of that. There is obviously a hyperfollow page. Of course there is, because I've done it through DistroKid. So if you do want to obviously grab that, let me know. Or maybe I should make a QR code for it right now. What do you reckon? Excuse me. Let's go add. What could we do? Let's have a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to showcase this for you. You can't see this right now because it's in the back part of this. This is using ReStream and DistroKid together. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go onto DistroKid's website for myself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab... This is where it's going to ask me to log in now, isn't it? Yeah, log in. Please put the code in from the email we just sent you. But it's, yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the hyperfollow page. And this is a really great thing. So for musicians who want to live stream, then what you can do is you can grab... like things like this. You can grab your hyperfollow page, create a QR code for it. In fact, you're not creating the QR code, which is really good. It just does it, which is really, really cool. Why haven't they sent me this code yet? 76. Okay, there we go. I can't multitask. There we go. So I'm going to grab the Whiskey Jar hyperfollow page. Let's visit it. There we go. Grab, copy, and then I'm going to paste it into here. There we go. So I'm now going to call it. I can't spell today either. Okay, cool. We can upload an image. Let's grab the image I just did. That one. So you're watching me do this live, and this is obviously, you wouldn't normally do this live. You'd normally do this before. There we go. Creating my promotion for me. In fact, I should edit it and say 19th. Right, so there we go. Whiskey Jar new single. So I can say out on April 19th. So if you guys now scan that QR code, there we go. Then that way, basically, you're going to get taken to the DistroKid hyperfollow page where you can do a Spotify pre-save. You can go on iTunes at the moment, and then when it comes out, all of the other ones are going to be there. So that way, you can actually just do it straight away. So that is the new Whiskey Jar new single, which is out on April 19th, and you saw me actually create that live on live streaming. And so if you're playing and you're doing like a promotional thing for musicians, this is a great way to do it, because you could obviously set this up beforehand, have that going through. Oh look, someone scanned the QR code, thanks. And then you've got access to it. So if you want to hear me singing, and you want to hear Joe McCallum singing, this was all recorded basically here in this room, and I did all the mixing and mastering and a couple of other bits as well. The mastering ish. So yeah, so there we go. So good. I'm glad you've seen those DistroKid links. The hyperfollow page is so easy. So imagine you absolutely love Spotify. Okay, let's just say that. But let's say all your fans are on like Deezer, Pandora, and Apple Music. You're not going to force them to change their subscription. However, what you can do is you can just give them the QR code or give them the link and go there, and they can choose how they listen to your music. So when you go into that page, you're going to see the Spotify pre-save, and you're also going to see iTunes, right? So this way, when actually this gets released, go onto this page again, and you're actually going to see like Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon, all the different ones, and they choose how they listen to it. So they're listening to the right person, and then it counts the streams from there. And that's just one way of doing it. And that way it's so easy, as opposed to going, oh, do you want to come up, listen to it on Spotify? Oh, I don't have Spotify. Oh, right. And then you have this really awkward conversation. Whereas now you can just click this link and you choose how you want to do it. It's really easy. So yeah, so I just wanted to obviously showcase that for you, because obviously that is something that DistroKid can do. But then if you're live streaming, if you use ReStream, which is what I'm doing, yeah, that's me, then you can obviously showcase it live. So if you're doing like a live show, or you're doing a single launch, something like that, that would work really, really well. So these two together work really, really well. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. This is JP, and welcome to John Paul Music UK. We are having some absolute fun tonight with my camera. So it's a little bit grainy, but hopefully you're getting the gist of what we're talking about. So yeah, there's all that fun and games. This is LoopLab Ask Me Anything. So if you want to ask me anything about looping, or you want to ask me anything at all, then you can ask me and I will answer it within reason. Keep it clean, guys. I'm curious. What was your first song when you started looping? That's a good question. I have to think back now. What was the first song that I started looping? Probably something like really 3-chord simple. I think I went straight into like Tom Petty Free Falling, because I already had a repertoire already of songs that I'd play as a solo artist. So it was kind of like, what's going to go right with it? So for me, it's 3 different chords. It would either be that, or it would have been something like, just thinking, what would it have been? Probably even something as simple as like Twist and Shout, right? The one that I tried to emulate very quickly was Black Horse and the Cherry Tree, by Katie Tunstall, because it was Katie Tunstall who set me on this path of looping, by watching what she did on Later with Jules Holland on the BBC. So when she started that, if you've never seen that before, Katie Tunstall's first TV performance was Black Horse and the Cherry Tree on a program called Later with Jules Holland, which is well renowned in the UK. So there we go. Have you tried building a beat using percussive guitar techniques? I do a little bit. So I use sort of like what I like to call rhythmic strumming. So I kind of whack the bridge. I'm surprised that that's not destroyed, if I'm honest. However, these guitars, they're not that great for like hitting different areas. I think it's the kind of microphone or the kind of pickup. I believe I need a piezo pickup, if that's correct. That's the one thing I'm not too hot on. It's like my guitar pickups. So I believe I need that kind of pickup, or I need a guitar that's got that technique for it. So I use a couple of different techniques. So I'll do sort of like, in fact, shall I get the guitar? I'll go get the guitar. You know you want me to. So hang on. And yes, I'm in shorts, by the way, before you ask. So I'll put this back on first so I can sort of hear what I'm doing. So I'd kind of like do... So I'd kind of like do, you know, sort of do things like that, and that's what I normally do. And then you'll hear me sort of like go, sort of like... oh, sorry, the music's still on, isn't it? Let me just turn the music off a sec. There we go. So I'd normally you'd hear me sort of like... And that's what I do now. And then once that loop's gone round once, you'll probably hear me go like, and then, you know, sort of stuff like that. But I'm not massively creative when it comes to... I'm creative, but I'm not massively creative when it comes to percussive guitar techniques, mainly because, as I say, it's down to those guitars, the APX. They're the Yamaha if anyone's interested, the APX 500 is red, and Lucky Lime is APX 600, and there is a reason behind their names. Red is red, obviously. Lucky Lime was actually enabled by someone else, so I didn't call it Lucky Lime, but just kind of stuck. And thank you for scanning the QR code, lovely. So yeah, so it's something I'd like to get into actually, because I think you can get some real. I've seen people with like very little taps and it sounds big, whereas that thing I've got to go bang bang and it's like it hardly makes a thud. They are absolute workhorses though, so, and they're thin bodied, so if you think about the thickness of an acoustic guitar, you know, these are not very thick at all. And I like that. I don't like the whole sort of like playing out here kind of thing, you know, like just, so I kind of like prefer that. However, I'm really bizarred about electric guitar. Oh, by the way, you're going to want to see the video on that guitar. That's something new that arrived. That's going to be fun. Sad news. I have sad news. I'm gonna answer the rest of these comments in a second. I do have some sad news. The role of a YouTuber is obviously to review products. Well, it's not just review products, but my role is a couple of different things: educate you on potentially new products, but also to educate you with how to do things, instructional stuff. Whoa, let's turn that right down. You are given a product sometimes, and then sometimes you get to keep it, and sometimes you don't get to keep it. So the Sakari folding guitar, which is an absolutely gorgeous pro guitar, and it should be because it's a lot of money, has gone back. It's moved on to another reviewer. And I've had it for way longer than I should have had it, if I'm completely honest. And I'm very, very grateful to them. And I want to thank them for trusting me, because it's a fantastic guitar. It's now been on 2 singles. It's on Stray, and it's on Whiskey Jar. It's on the new Whiskey Jar. And it's a beautiful electric guitar that folds in half and fits in a backpack, which is just insane. But that's only half of it. The other half of it is that when you unfold it, it is a pro guitar. The action on it is beautiful. But unfortunately, it's had to go back to Sakari. In fact, it's gone to someone else to then review, which is interesting. So I'm just happy I didn't break a string or snap the actual, you can't, well, the neck does fold in half, but you know what I mean? So I didn't break it. And they were like, oh, by the way, we need it back. I was like, oh, okay. Hopefully in the future we'll get one back, because it is a beautiful guitar. That, however, that's something very different. That thing there, this little white guitar here, something very different that I'll be showcasing soon. Just doing some more testing first. So, had the Digitech Trio Plus before you got the Boss RC500, and the Digitech had 3 bass lines to choose from. The Boss RC500 don't have any bass in it, so I had to buy an octave pedal for my Strat. Yeah, so this is one thing that people don't realize. There's a little bit of like, you know, almost like effects, you know, like just follow-on effects, quite useful with different bass lines. And yeah, the Trio Plus, it was kind of like a band and a pedal board, wasn't it? Like a very clever little idea. It was cool. And you use a Strat as well. Saw that on your picture there. I think that's a Strat in your picture. So yeah, nice. What kind of stuff are we doing? Piezo undersaddles. I think LR Bags makes a blend system with an undersaddle and a mic. I use a Fishman myself. So are we doing percussive guitar stuff with the Fishman? That's what my question to you is. That'll be quite interesting. Yes. Lullaby, the Carl Wachner gets a good drum sound on his Mini Mason, so yeah, I guess more pickups than body size. Yeah, it's not about the body size, it's definitely about the pickups. And also you'll notice with Carl, absolutely adore Carl's workflow and the way Carl loops. He's just, if you could bottle Carl up, you couldn't, because he's just a ball of energy, and when he loops, he just goes nuts. But you'll notice he also has there's a almost like a piece of wood. I don't know. I'm probably absolutely ruining what it actually is, but there's a piece of wood there that he does whack. That's on the Mater. The Maters are just the mini Matons are just beautiful, and I'd want one. However, I don't want one because if I got one, everyone will go, "You're doing what Carl's doing." So really, really nice. Also, I'm a bit of a big guy, so if I get a mini, I'll look even bigger. So I'm trying to hide the belly, if I want to be completely honest. But yeah, so it is down to the sound, and I think there are ones with microphones in, but then that brings in a very difficult situation, because the thing is, like, in certain environments, in a ticketed sit down or ticketed stage, whatever, everyone's looking at you event, that's not an issue. If you're in, I always think about, the burly busker, as it were, or, the hard-working covers guy who's, in the corner in a very busy Irish bar. And I've done that, and I still do that. And, you're paying 2 hours sweating, and people just go, play Oasis. The worst one I ever had was, they went to grab, I had a sheet music, it wasn't even sheet music, it was just lyric music book. On the mic stand, there was an old mic stand, and it was on the mic stand clipped on, and this lady who had a couple of drinks went, "Oh, is this what you do?" And she just took it, went back to her group of girls and flicked through it while I'm going, "There's my lyrics," and she came out and go, "Can you do this one?" I was like, I'm not a bloody karaoke machine. So yeah, I think every bar who has live music on should have some kind of stage barrier. I even, when I interviewed The Distance for the podcast How Do You Loop, they bring their own barrier with them. They do mainly wedding events, and of course everyone gets a bit inebriated at a wedding. So they bring their own barrier with them. I was like, oh, that's just legend. You can't do that in a place to go, right, you're there, you're in that corner for 2 hours, go and sweat in that corner. So it's quite funny. I quite like that. Chicken wire. Yes, barbed wire. Go for it, mate. Can you? Ow. That would be quite funny. Yes, I can't beatbox, and Newton Faulkner and Mike Dawes. So Newton's very, very interesting. The way they sort of build beats and stuff. A lot of sort of like, tapping and all these different things. Very clever. He builds using the body of an Epiphone jumbo. Yeah, so yeah, I learned to play guitar. Well, I say learned to play guitar. I suppose I did learn to play guitar, but I kind of picked up the guitar. My actual instrument that I learned, as in lessons with a person, is the piano. It was the piano. Grade 5 theory, don't you know? And then I started playing keyboards in bands, and then it was like, right, cool. And then just jumped on the guitar, and then hated it. Absolutely hated it. And didn't know the chords, still don't know all of them. But then found Dadgad, and that was it. I was like, made that. So Lucky Lime's in normal tuning. Red is in Dadgad. Absolutely adore Dadgad as a tuning. You get that Celtic-y, like, drone sound out of it, but also at the same time you can very quickly get from one chord to another, because you can have the sort of same chord structure going up the fretboard. It's better than bar chords, in my opinion, because you can play all the notes and really ring it out. Yeah, a lot of my tunes are actually made in Dadgad, and also I've converted a lot of my covers into Dadgad as well, because they just sound better. So, for example, again, I'll turn the music off. Nice little lo-fi tune there. I should really plug this in, shouldn't I? Wake up, then I know I'm gonna be under me. It just sounds nicer. I probably can't. That's probably sounded rubbish to you. But yeah, it's Dadgad's a lovely, lovely thing to play, because So there's your major. There's your minor. You can go. I just love that. But Oasis. No. Although I do a one or two of their tracks, and what I try to do is I try to muck them up. So you know, try and obviously do different versions of them. Play Oasis. Yeah, you get that. Mate, you know Oasis. Oh, the best one I ever had was me and my wife walked into a bar that I play in Liverpool. It's not far from oh, there we go. And me and my wife walked into a bar that I normally play in Liverpool. And you walk in with all the equipment, and I can normally walk in with all of it together, which my very darling wife helps carry, and bless her. And we walk in, and everyone is in a black suit, like either black suit or black dress. And I'm like, what's this? And it's like black. They're in black. They're not in like lovely colours or anything like it. They're all. And we just looked at each other and went, this is a wake. This is the wake after a funeral. And the lady who runs the bar came running up to me, JB. Yeah, so a lady who was really affluent in the area died, and everyone knows her. But it was really lovely, and it was great. It was a great funeral. Great funeral. I was like, okay. I said, but everyone's been here since about 2 p.m. and they're absolutely wasted. By the way, I got there at 7:30. Okay, I was playing 9 till 11. Well, 8:30 start playing. Normally do like a 2-hour show. Before I even put the guitar down, a woman came up to me and went. The woman came up to me and went, "Oh, do you know any of this? Do you know what was it?" She said, "Do you know any Meatloaf?" That was it. She was said, "Do you know any Meatloaf?" I went, "What? No." Oh, she loved Meatloaf. I was like, okay. I just played my normal set, so it's all good. It's quite funny. So hello everyone. We're basically having fun with the camera and the quality of the camera. That's nothing to do with ReStream. It's to do with my internet, because there is a storm happening in the UK, and it's causing havoc with the quality that's being sent out. But obviously you can hear me, and that's all the good things. Oh, look who's here. Emily McVicker. If you don't know who Emily McVicker is, go to her channel. Go and subscribe right now. Emily is a Twitch streamer. And we have interviewed her on how do you loop. And also doing YouTube, doing lots of things about how to loop certain things, how she does the looping of certain things. Predominantly now using the 505 Mark II as far, my friend, are you still using the 505 Mark II? And yeah, you did a video on the Showbox, didn't you? The Mackie Showbox. Guess what? I got one. We're going to have a go at it soon. What? What do you mean am I leaving? What, you're leaving? No, not leaving. So, all good. Baz. Baz is here. Baz has questions. I use an iPhone as an instrument with lots of apps and AUM. Oh, nice. Connected to my OC600 via Scarlett 4i4 for jamming with real instruments. You use Loopy Pro and GarageBand. Should I get an iPad or a Mac? Oh. Are you serious right now? Should I get an iPad or Mac? Well, looking at YouTube and looking at kind of the time of the year and everything on YouTube, there's loads of videos about rumors about like new iPads. There's rumors, always rumors. There's rumors for everything. So I don't know. Get what you want. stepping that back a little bit, Baz, what I would say is get what you need the most, okay? Because an iPad you can do everything with. By the way, I run this channel on an iPad, okay? I'm using a Mac right now to live stream. That's fair enough. But I video edit on this. I don't video edit on the Mac. The Mac is there for live streaming and for music production. I video edit with this. Now, if this isn't the biggest thing ever, there's the new video that's going to come out in a couple of days' time. I video edit on here. I don't use Final Cut anymore. Those Final Cut on the iPad, I prefer LumaFusion. I am so fast on it because it's all done by touch, and you can use keyboard shortcuts as well. Is it missing a couple of things? Yes. Can it do the AI auto editing thing? No, but I love it. It's great. I can edit on the train with headphones on. So yeah, so an iPad is incredibly powerful. That's where I think it's just growing up and up. What I'd really like to see in the iPads, I'd really like to see in it, because they call them an iPad Pro, I'd like to see the same connections as the Mac Pro, which I've got here, which I'd like to see a HDMI connection. I'd like to see more than one USB-C connection. But if they get them, that'd be amazing. So yeah, so there we go. So definitely get what you need. The line in the sand is if you can't get it on the App Store, you can't get it on an iPad, whereas a Mac, you can install anything. But it's depending on what you want. If you're, I'm going to bring this back up, you're using AUM, you're using a Scarlett, you're jamming with real instruments, use Loopy Pro and GarageBand, which you can't get Loopy Pro on a Mac yet. I think he is working on it. Need to speak to Michael actually. Should I get an iPad or a Mac? You tell me what you're gonna have more fun with. If you love a touch interface, then basically get an iPad. Simple as that. Oh, yes, no. I've been practicing with a 5. If I develop mine, fair enough. Okay. Oh yay! I actually really like the show. I do. I meant to do a full review of it, but I kind of jumped on yesterday with it on a live stream, on an impromptu iPhone vertical live stream yesterday, because I got so excited about it. It's probably the most well put together speaker I've ever played with, and it's under $1,000. It's like it's under 800 quid, isn't it? It's like about 700 here, so it's about $799 in the US. The Mackie Showbox, if that, which is the Mackie Reach, I love Mackie stuff, and I've always have, and then I've just activated the camera. That's due to the SRM days and using the SRM 450s and things like that with the band and stuff years ago. The active speakers. So the Mackie speakers, they've always had a good sound. And they don't feel like whatever you throw at them, they just go, yeah, fine. They don't stress about it. So really good sound. The Mackie Showbox, breakaway mixer, absolutely love it. Are they? And I also heard as well, someone bought them. Did you hear about this? So Mackie are now owned by Rode. Let that sink in for a second. Mackie are amazing. But they're now owned by Rode. Apparently they are going to stay as separate companies, but they did make them the thing to say that they're now owned by Rode. There we go. Well, what's my verdict? What do you reckon? I would basically say that with the Sheeran loopers, where is it? Oh, it's down there. I'm not getting it there. There it is, down there. It's down there in the corner. I'm going to point it out to you. That thing, right? That's the Sheeran Looper Plus. I think 35 miles just basically got the best. Do you know what? You need to give them that. You need to actually email Rode and Mackie. Is an awesome mix. Oh, I like what you did there. Very clever. That's marketing for you. Going back to the Sheeran Looper, what do I think of the Sheeran Looper? Well, the Sheeran Looper has the best foot pedals I've ever used. Done. The best foot pedals I've ever used. Now, I've only used the Sheeran Looper Plus. I am yet to use the Sheeran Looper X. I am in talks with Sheeran Loopers at the moment. They are trying to get hold of one for me, which is very nice of them. Thank you very much. And we will see. Now, I have, sitting right here, in fact, because we've dusted it off, this is very heavy. We have this. Do you know what this is? The Headrush Looper board. Now, the Headrush Looper board... Oh, I can see myself in the thing. The Headrush Looper board I got pretty much when it came out. Speak to Carl Wachner, and he uses the Headrush Looper board, okay? But he has a load of effects around him. The one thing that lets it down is the effects rack thing on that, because it's quite limiting. Now, apparently on the Sheeran Looper X, you can only put effects on a track at the moment. You can't put effects on the input only. So maybe you want to put an effect on the input and then record different things. You have to put it on different tracks. You can do pre or post for the effects, but they're on different tracks, which I find a bit of a weird way to go. So maybe they've done it because that's how Ed works. Maybe you have an effect on that track. So as you go to that track to record, it just changes. And that sounds quite nice. It's quite a cool way of doing it. But the problem with that is, let's just say I want to put an effect on my microphone and record that across 3 tracks and then change the effect on my microphone to do something else. That's not possible. So unless they do a firmware update, which they may very well do, because you can do input effects on that. So I don't know. So time will tell with that, but the Sheeran Loopers, the build quality is the best. The pedals are the best. Simple as that. You watch Boss bring out like an RC600 Mark II with the same pedals as that. And then that's it. They haven't changed a thing. Like, they'll just keep it like that. Or what would be amazing is they bring it out with their new color display. Have you seen that? The new color display on the guitar stuff. Ooh, nice. So there we go. That's a statement. You're absolutely right. They don't. Thank you. I love the touch interface and the good value and unique apps. I'm scared they'll brick the iPad and never offer Mac OS. Leaning towards the iPad. Yeah, it sounds like you are. There are some amazing AUV3 plugin apps on the iPad that you just wouldn't get on a Mac because you control it with your hands. So I think it's more leaning towards control, like that. It's quite interesting. Try Logic for bigger projects. No. Yeah, I mean, I'll try Logic for, you can do. I mean, I did Stray on Logic on the iPad. So I created Stray on GarageBand to begin with, and then I brought it into Logic on iPad. It's perfectly fine. It's great. Works. Does it. So we go. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Doves loop vid. That's really, really cool. Yeah, road. Oh, look at this. Again, Emily Love. Absolutely. Definitely. Got an amazing voice. I think it'll be good. Yeah, I think it will be good. We're talking about the Sheeran Looper, right? I think it will be good. The one thing I said in my review on the Sheeran Looper Plus is workflow. Workflow is the key thing here. It's about the workflow. It's about how you do the workflow. Why is my face really pink on one side? You can't see it anyway because it's we're having fun issues with the quality. Yeah, so you can't even see the Looper Plus down there. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it is down to workflow, and they've built it for Ed. So if you have Ed's workflow, you'll be fine. If you've got a workflow from like a different Boss looper, for example, you might struggle. But I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I do love this. Rode or Mackie, if you're watching, that is a tagline right there. Trademark of 35 miles of lead. So there we go. It wasn't an intentional pun. Headrush. It is massive. It is ridiculous. And I got it pretty much the same week it came out. And then did a load of content on it. So if you go way back when, then on my channel you'll see there is actually a playlist for the Headrush Looper board, and you'll see a very naive YouTubey JP doing content for that, which I did content for Headrush. They asked me to do content for that with the Headrush loop board in exchange for a looper board, so I said yes, which is very good. Now the thing is, if you speak to people like Carl Wachner, Carl actually uses the Headrush looper board. It is his number one piece of kit for looping, but you'll notice that his effects and his sounds and everything else are individual pedals. And he has things like the V500 for voice, and he has a Mato mixed MIDI control thing. He's got octave pedal, like a Boss octave pedal. He's got a what's the Australian company? The Exciter one. He's got a couple of different ones, and he's strapped them onto the top of it because it's that big it can hold it. And but his workflow is looping is that. Now I don't know if obviously you might have a bit of compression. It probably does compression EQ on there, and also in the terms of using the looper board, that 7-inch touchscreen is just insane. I mean, the thing is, it's so easy to the Strymon. Thank you. What was the Strymon? The 7-inch touchscreen is just insane. It's so easy. You go, oh look, a fader. Meh. As opposed to like, let's get into, let's get into this and go, right, okay, cool. So I need to go into the RC600 menu, output, EQ, and then go into the main, and then there's my lows and highs, there's the frequency range, there's that. No, it's just like, there it is, slide it, done. So this is the downfall of the RC600. Is the size of the screen. The menu system is also, very confusing, and that's why a lot of people obviously go for things like my RC600 course. So I've got over 55 videos that are not on YouTube. They are all part of this RC600 course. You can get 5% off with the word subscriber. It's $197. However, if you go onto there, you have the option to pay in 4 monthly installments. There you go. Nice little segue there. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. So this live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid are a music distribution company. So if you have got music that you are ready to release, then scan the QR code or click the link that's just gone in the chat. And then you get 7% off your first annual membership with them. You can actually upload your music and send it to lots of different places, to the point where I've got a new track coming out, which is coming out in 9 days' time, which is Whiskey Jar with myself and Joe McAdam, the amazing Joe McAdam. I hope he's watching. He's got an amazing voice. So yeah, Whiskey Jar is all about the Whiskey Jar in Manchester, where I met Joe. I also had my first date with my wife. So the Whiskey Jar is a really important place to me, because they have an amazing open mic night. Now it's an open mic night. However, they are so popular, and there's been celebrities in there and all kinds, that they are booked out for like 3 months. It's still an open mic night, but the quality, the bar is set so high in there, and I'm very honoured and very humbled to say that I am actually part of that group of people who have played in the Whiskey Jar multiple times, using the loopers. And it's a real good fun. So Whiskey Jar's out April 19th. Click the link, scan the QR code, and go and listen to do it now. If you're on Spotify, you can pre-save it. And if you're just getting into looping, you just want to start in looping, you want to put your toe in the water. Do I use an iPad? Do you use a pedal board? Do you use a handheld device? Then my other course, which is called How to Loop Like a Pro, actually goes right from the very beginning. Now, we don't just go on pedals. We go on, we use Loopy Pro. We use the 505 Mark II. We use the 50, the 500, the 600, the Donner Circle Looper. And we go from the very basics right to some really advanced things. So it's normally $149, and you can get $30 off with the code, which is Loop Like a Pro, and that is there for you as well. I've got a 600 course, a 500 course, and then we've also got How to Loop Like a Pro as well. Have a look at johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and then that way you can actually you can go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and then you can see all my stuff. You can also book me as well if you want a private tuition with me. You can do that as well. And if you really want to support the channel, then give this a thumbs up. Okay, give this a thumbs up right now because we are about to close off this live stream. So if you've got any questions, now is the time. Get the questions in now for LoopLab. Ask Me Anything, sponsored by DistroKid. So yes, no, it is a big one. It's heavy too. Do you know what? One thing that I really loved was actually, and they've kept it on the Sheeran Looper X. Basically, hang on. I did the live stream of this. Look at the, oh, hang on, that way. Oh, no, that way. I can't do it. There we go. Look at the bottom of this. Okay. Now, the Sheeran one is like that high. It's up here, so it's a 15-degree thing, so it's like more of an angle. But the bottom of it, it's the same. Okay, I think there's one change over here. Okay, and what I really liked about it was this. Their original marketing for the headrest looper board, if you remember, was like not just guitars. They were like it was like you can plug in anything, and everything's a combi jack. Love that. However, outputs 1 and 2 were jack, and outputs 3 and 4 were XLR. It's not the end of the world. I'd just like to see a combi output. Does anyone do that? Does anyone do a combi output? It is in the house. Yeah, it would be cool. It is a tank as well. It is. Oh, arm's really sore now. It's heavy. It is. It's probably like. Hang on. My entire pedal board probably weighs about the same. Like this thing with the pedals on, the TC Helicon Play Acoustic, the pads on the RC600 on the top. It's a Nux pedal board, by the way. That thing probably weighs about the same as that on its own. So yeah, it's a big boy. I mean, it's massive. It's massive. Oh, question. What do you think about generative apps plugins? I got Riffler recently, and as a guitarist, I'm undecided. I have not played with Riffler. Generative apps. I don't know what you mean by that. Generative apps and plugins. I don't know what Riffler is. I've not looked at Riffler. I'm now on the App Store right now. Riffler. Oh, there it is. Riffler, guitar riff generator, instant guitar riffs. Okay. So you just go, you pick the tuning, pick the timing. I suppose it's really, really cool because it creates amazing riffs instantly. See, this is the whole AI conversation, isn't it? Because I didn't want to get into this tonight, but I get it. That's quite cool. It generates a riff. But it's not the same as this generating a riff. Does that make sense? Like, I get it. It's quite cool. And maybe it sparks inspiration. I'd probably only use that to go, huh. I'll go as the and then, maybe do that. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. 15 quid. Instantly create unlimited copyright-free guitar riffs. Just tap create and listen to your new riff. See, there's a part of me that's kind of gone, you haven't done that yourself. Like, it's the same with like the Suno AI. Like, type in a couple of things and you've got a song. It's cool for people who go, there's a song about my dog. But like, I'm just going to use it on whatever. But you haven't decided the chord structure. You haven't decided the instruments. You haven't decided what the riff is, right? So things like that. No, like that. When we're not, everyone's going, AI is going to take over the world, and there's going to be no musicians ever. That's bullshit. It's not. That's not going to happen, ever. ever. It's not going to happen. Quote me on it in 10 years. It's not going to happen. There'll be a section. The best way I got it described to me from someone else was it'll end up being like its own genre. So AI is a tool. I'm using a tool right now to talk to people around the world. That wasn't like perceivable like 40 years ago. Oh no, it's taken away conversation with real people. Live streaming. When the pandemic happened, loads of people went to live streaming. No one complained about the technology then because they were able to do what they wanted to do. The reason why people are afraid of AI is because they don't know how to use it yet. Okay, so there's like, oh, this can do that. Cool. It's just like teaching a kid how to use a rattle. It's no different. So it's just it just looks very sophisticated. And it is, generative AI. I'm interested in it. I am. But the fact is that with things like listen to this tune. Right, I just made that up. What's the difference between me making it up and a computer making it up? There isn't any difference. If I went, you can have that. You can take that tune, do something else with it. That's fine. Same thing. When you've got things like I'm making whole songs for you, like Suno and stuff like that, no disrespect to them, although I think they are in trouble because they're not telling people how they trained their model. But I don't know. I think people will end up using stuff like a tool, and I don't know. It's one of those things where will everyone go, oh well, there's AI now, so I'm just going to stop playing guitar. No, people use that for relaxation. They use it for creativity. They use it to expand their mind or release their mind, and that's never going to go away. The way it was described to me was, if you think of an ocean, AI, country music, house music, folk music, everything else, they're all drops that make a whole ocean. And AI music is going to be one of those drops. It's going to end up being AI music for this or AI music for that. And people will go, cool, you're listening to AI music right now. Okay? So the music that actually ReStream use, they actually call it music AI. And this is the lo-fi one. Let me put on the minimal house one. There you go. It's just you've been listening to AI music all this time. So it's a tool. I'm using it as a bit of a background music. Oh, there we go. Well, as I am finishing this stream, I think everyone should actually move over. So Emily, before you go, very, 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 very quickly, when I know you stream on Twitch, are you also restreaming that onto YouTube? Because if you are, then everyone move over to Emily's YouTube channel now. If not, go over to Twitch and go and follow Emily because she's going to head out on her own stream. It's great to catch you as well. Good to have a chat. So with that, with the talk of AI, we'll end this net right now because we are over the 2-hour mark. Someone did ask me a very quick question. I'm just going to answer it very quickly. I want a live loop, but I need something that has built-in vocal effects. Interesting. What should I get? Have a look. It depends on how many loops you want, but have a look at the TC Helicon range. Some of them have loops on board. Things like the Voice Live 3 Extreme has both vocal and guitars. You could also use something that is made for guitars as a vocal one. So have a look at the Helix. The Helix is a guitar processor, but you see a lot of the beatboxers actually using it mixed with a looper. So you could have something that's got built-in effects. If you want to do live looping, which is for vocals and vocals only, and you want effects, I'd highly recommend the Boss RC505 Mark II. Don't get the Mark 1, just go straight for the Mark II, because for the extra X amount, you're getting so much more in terms of quality and audio. So I hope that answers your question, Jesse. And was there anyone else who's asking a question very quickly? Yes, I am. Yes. No, I'm having an internet issue. So that's why the all the other stuff looks great, but my camera looks like the bottom of an old Coke bottle. So yeah, it's because there's a storm happening, and it's affecting my camera going out to the World Wide Web, as we call it. So we're going to end the live stream there. So thank you very much. I'm sorry about the camera today, but we'll make sure we endeavour to get that fixed for the next live stream, and hopefully we'll have a better quality. But if you are obviously just joining us, or you're watching us a replay, then of course, if you've got some quality out of this, then give it a thumbs up, smash the like button, hit subscribe, because we are so close to 25,000 subscribers. Where are we? Let's have a look. 24,947. So we're less than 53 subscribers away from 25,000, which is just insane to me. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Have a great week. We will catch you next week, and we'll be doing another live stream as well. Okay. Everything's moved around, so I need to find what I need to find. There we go. Have a great week. Bye-bye.